Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Vallabha Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Braja Janna Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Janna Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari I would like to sing you more, but voice gave up. Jaya Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Ashtotara Shata Shri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. So today we'll be reading from the ecstatic Srimad Bhagavatam. Kinchana. We'll be reading from first canto, chapter 19, text 34. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashta Prayesha Bhadreshu Nitya Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So text 34. Sānnidhyāt te mahā-yogin. Sānnidhyāt te mahā-yogin. Pātakāni mahāntyapi. Pātakāni mahāntyapi. Sadyo naśyanti vai puṁsāṁ. Sadyo naśyanti vai puṁsāṁ. viṣṇor eva suretarāḥ. viṣṇor eva suretarāḥ. Sānnidhyāt te mahā-yogin. Pātakāni mahāntyapi. Sadyo naśyanti vai puṁsāṁ. viṣṇor eva suretarāḥ. Please. Ladies. Sānnidhyāt, on account of the presence, te, your, mahā-yogin, O great mystic, pātakāni, sins, mahānty, invulnerable, api, in spite of, sadyaḥ, immediately, naśyanti, vanquished, certainly, puṁsāṁ, of a person, viṣṇu, like the presence of the personality of Godhead, iva, like, sura-itarāḥ, other than the demigods. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Just as the atheist cannot remain in the presence of the personality of Godhead, so also the invulnerable sins of a man are immediately vanquished in your presence. O saint, O great mystic. So this is just for those who were not here last couple of days. This is Shukadev Goswami. This is a description of Shukadev Goswami, glorification of Shukadev Goswami. So basically, he prays just as an atheist cannot remain in the presence of God, and in the same way, when you appear, the sin cannot exist, which is a very interesting concept, which we will talk today a little bit about it. Purport, amazing purport by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada actually said that this purport that his transcendental ecstasis. Imagine, transcendental ecstasy. So we have in this luxury to read it very easily. We can just read Prabhupada's transcendental ecstasis. There are two classes of human beings, namely the atheist and the devotee of the Lord. So atheist and devotee of the Lord. The devotees of the Lord, because of manifesting godly qualities, are called a demigod, whereas the atheist is called a demon. This is many times Srila Prabhupada did this. These are the demons, demoniac. And so even devotees in the early days in ISKCON, these demons, they stop my book distribution. The demons, Devotees had this, because Prabhupada was very clearly making a line in India, reka. They have this, how do you call this, reka, to stop the ants? You put this reka, Lakshman reka. And this is our Lakshman reka. They cannot come. This is the demon side. This is the devotee side. And in the early ISKCON, it was like, I came a little later than I came in the 90s, but it was still, the mood was there. These are we who live in the temple, we are devotees, and everybody else is demon, And demons did this, and demons destroy everything, destroy the world. So you have to go and wake up the demons, disturb their sense gratification. I heard this one lecture. He was a big acharya in the 80s, one of the 12 acharyas. He's not anymore, but still is a very nice devotee. And I heard his lectures. There was the tapes of his, like he was a guru. And he said, and we are going distributing books door to door. And the people said, why are you disturbing us? And we say, sir, I came to disturb your sense gratification, just like that. And our devotees were like, we are disturbing their sense gratification because they're demons. Anyways, let's go back to the purport of His Divine Grace. the atheists call a demon. The demon cannot stand the presence of Viṣṇu, the personality of Godhead. The demon's always busy in trying to vanquish the personality of Godhead. Busy. Few years ago, some 10 years, 15 years ago, there was a movement, very popular even now, called New Humanists in England, particularly America, mostly like English-speaking world. They wanted to prove that there is no God. So they made it manifesto. God does not exist, and all these various scientists, intelligentsia, they signed, God does not exist, and he signed. So they were very busy. They wanted to build a church of no God. Because they said, if you can build such a beautiful palace, big, whatever, Notre Dame or whatever, beautiful buildings, celebrating person which does not exist, God, why we cannot build a person to beautiful building to glorify, no God? Of course, they never built it, because who's going to give money for it? But the point is this, and then there was they had the buses all over London, big on the advertisement, on the buses there with the advertisements, and was written, God probably doesn't exist. But the word probably was there, because nothing you can say for certain, This is the modern philosophy. If you say something for certain, oh, how dare you to be certain in something? This is like offense. If you say something for certain, I don't know, you have studied probably, some of you, and in the university, if you say something for certain, they're like, look at you, what? Certain? No. Everybody has the rights to their own opinion. And we got to put back to this. But Prabhupada says this, they are busy. Atheists are busy in trying to vanquish the personality of Godhead. But factually, as soon as the personality of Godhead appears, either by his transcendental name, form, attributes, pastimes, paraphernalia, or variegatedness, the demon is at once vanquished. They're busy to destroy Krishna, but once Krishna appears, it's all, deityism is gone down the river. So this is the, foolishness in one sense of these particular personalities. It is said that a ghost cannot remain as soon as the holy name of the Lord is chanted. This is the famous pastimes by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, there was a ghost in the tree, and people are worshipping, and worshipping ghosts in the tree, the villages. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, as a magistrate, he said, no, you should worship Krishna, not a ghost. So then he went and he sat under the tree and he read Srimad Bhagavatam. Just reading Srimad Bhagavatam. And after some time, after reading, I don't exactly remember when he finished the 10th canto or something like this, the tree cracked. Tree just cracked in half, and the ghost gone, never to be repeated. The same story, the Srila Prabhupada once was renting rooms in I think it was Lucknow or Allahabad. I think in Lucknow when he had his factory. And Prabhupada didn't have much money. And there was one building to rent, and this building was a ghostly building. Nobody wanted to rent the ghostly building. Prabhupada just, good, I'll rent it for cheap, Prabhupada rented the building and chanted. He said, I was chanting, and the ghosts were gone. And whoever opened a Hare Krishna temple has this experience. Usually you rent the most degraded, at least in my case, the most degraded building, one we were renting in America, one building which was previously used, but the students for partying. This was a party house. Stains of vomit everywhere on the floor, It's so horrible. And we said, well, we take it, it's cheap, So the devotees cleaned up everything. We bought this machine to, clean the parquet, and everything was fine. And then became a blissful Hare Krishna temple. 50 people, 70 people, Sunday feast. So the presence of Krishna makes all the ghosts go away. Next. The great saint and devotees of the Lord are in the list of his paraphernalia, and thus as soon as the saintly devotee is present, the ghostly sins are at once vanquished. That is the verdict of all Vedic literatures. One is recommended, therefore, to associate only with saintly devotees, so that worldly demons and ghosts cannot exert their sinister influence. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodita Gododaya Pushpavanto Chitra Shando Tamonuda. Guru Goranga Ki Jai. So this is some very, you can say, typical Prabhupada mood words. What Prabhupada throughout his, if you follow Prabhupada's letters or Prabhupada's history, if you read the books of Tamal Krishna Goswami, Servant of the Servant, Satsarup Maharaja's ISKCON in the 70s, and Vyasaki Prabhu's Radha Damodar pastimes or Radha Damodar traveling Sankirtan party, you'll find the same mood. The mood was that wherever devotees were thinking this material world is always dangerous and we have to be, wherever devotees are, wherever the association of devotees, this is a safe place in the material world. So when I was reading this purport and a verse, I was thinking what would be one title, to name this my speech today. And I was thinking first is the first words came to my mind is revolution. The Prabhupada brought to the revolution in the impious material world. And here in the morning walk, one morning walk, Prabhupada says, my health is not always going on nicely. Still, I'm trying. That is my ambition. I want to begin one revolution, a revolution against godless civilization. This is my ambition. So revolution against the godless civilization. What does it mean, revolution? Revolution usually in the material sense means destroying. What is the red revolution in Russia, 90s, in the beginning of the 19th century, Lenin, they go and destroy everything, burn everything, kill everybody. This is the revolution, Spanish revolution, whatever, all kinds of revolutions. This is meaning revolution basically means mode of, in one sense, mode of ignorance, destroying things. But Krishna conscious revolution is a revolution of building up. It's a revolution is removing the illusion and showing the real light of existence. I was just 3 days ago, we were there, this prasadam stall behind the, what is the Sankirtan building? Behind the Sankirtan building. So we were sitting there and there was a group of very young devotees. I don't know, maybe they're not here today. No, there were many, 7, 8 of them, and they were ordering all the same plates, paratha and some things. They're all the same plates. And they were sitting all dressed in white, all little hairs. And you can see that they are like either brand new devotees or, aspiring devotees. And they were all chanting together when the plates came. Sharira Vidaja, with ecstasy, Chaudandriya Thai. And Hare Krishna, they all raised hands. And so I was thinking, this is a bhakta bliss, we call it bhakta bliss in the West. They experience the bhakta bliss, When somebody joins and after 2 weeks, you say, how is the, bhakta, how he's experiencing bhakta bliss, or bhakti in bliss, Smiling, you speak to him and he cannot stop smiling, Krishna, and you say Krishna, like wow, new world opens. And what is this actually, what is this happening when the people experience the bhakta bliss? People experience the bhakta bliss because they finally, after so long, like if you're in the desert and somebody finally give you a glass of water, this is bhakta bliss. You finally come in touch with your real nature. Finally, your real nature opens up and you come in touch with transcendence. And therefore, this is so blissful, ecstatic. You say Krishna and you're like, wow, Krishna, wow. Later on, we get to make, after some years, we've seen a couple of Ratha Yatras, and then you say, ISKCON is all right, but, I don't know, Because this Bhakta bliss, original Bhakta bliss is gone. And this Bhakta bliss, even Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, it is better to be either Kanishta Adhikari or Uttama Adhikari. Although Madhyama Adhikari, we have to become Madhyama Adhikari, but it's better to be Kanishta because in the beginning everything is ecstatic and everybody's wonderful, everybody's pure devotee. When I first time came to Mayapur, I mean, this is experience, you know. First of all, we had the bus. We were traveling in India at that time. And we came from the main entrance. Where's the main entrance now? There. No, there, from there. We drove with the bus behind the conch building, and we parked in the conch building with the bus. It was all open. There was nothing here. And the first thing, you know, we took shower there and behind the conch building on the grass, of course. And then I went to the temple, and just kirtan was just amazing. All these sannyasis, you know, there was at that time, all these sannyasis were for Guru Puja, you know, I was maybe 20, jumping. And I remember dancing in an hour, and I completely lost my sense of, you know, material existence, you can say. So this was my bhakta bliss in Mayapur Dham, 1993, you know. This was an amazing thing. Because this is when we, in the beginning of the Hare Krishna, when we joined the Hare Krishna movement, first time after long, many millions of lives, we cast this material consciousness and come to the spiritual consciousness. So, this is what the revolution means. The revolution is, I was just recently listening to something or reading something. I'm also a little bit involved with some Western philosophy. And this person was speaking how everything in the world is called the unity of the opposites. You know, opposites like heat and cold, good and bad, you know. So this is the philosophy of one of the ancient Greek philosophies, which means that in all of us we have these dualities. And nowadays, particularly nowadays in the West, they use this philosophy to the max. Of course, first they think they are the body, and this is just group of elements somehow got together, glued, somehow, imagine, somehow glued together, and we are somehow living and speaking, all of us, and not disintegrating, which is really strange. And after we die, we just merge with all the totality of other elements, and that's it. We don't exist anymore. This is the basic thing, which is normal materialistic philosophy. But more than that, they use this nowadays, this unity of opposites. Meaning, in each person, we have these opposites, which mean good and bad. Like, for example, water is a death for us. We can be in how long? 2 minutes without oxygen, and we'll die. But fish enjoys in the water. So these are opposites. The water is the same. So we also have these opposites. So therefore, we should not judge. You know, there was a big famous song last, 7, 8 years ago. Everywhere on the radio, you go anywhere in the West, it says, "I'm only human after all." Anybody knows this song? Yeah, the Western devotees. "I'm only human after all. Don't put the blame on me." Oh, you know. Just see the rascaldom, you know. Meaning, I'm a human. This is human. In me, there's these opposites. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. But I'm human. So therefore, don't put a blame on me. Which is very convenient to actually give up any sense of responsibility. You know. So Prabhupada brought this revolution. He said, no. I put the blame on you. It's your fault. It is your fault. And you say, oh, really, my fault? You know. Suddenly, we realize that we have responsibility in this world. I cannot just walk around and do whatever, you know, I can just get one girl after another pregnant and I'm only human. What can I do? No, you have a responsibility. And this responsibility, Prabhupada called karma. I mean, he brought us, this is not new, but he said this is karma. You get karma. For all your actions, you get reaction, which we never heard before. You go to the supermarket and you buy whatever you like and you can go out easily. No, you cannot go easily. You have to pay for all what you have. You can fill up the basket as much as you want, but you have to pay. So this is karma. So Prabhupada brought this to the West. Yes, you have a karma, you have responsibility. So therefore, you should get married, he told this early disciple in San Francisco. And the devotees were like, married? You know, this was 1967. I've been to San Francisco much later, in the 95, whatever. And I went to all these places that Prabhupada was, but was not there the same. But Prabhupada was 1976, famous Summer of Love. And this was the Summer of Love, means, free love, free drugs, everything is free. And you can just have as good time as you want, because this is the Summer of Love. And Prabhupada, in the middle of this, Prabhupada says, you have to get married. They were like, what? Swamiji? Yes, you have to get married. Married, And he said, not just that, but once you're married, no divorce. Take responsibility. The devotee is like, oh my God, responsibility, And then Prabhupada had this, there was a concert, famous concert with all these big hippie bands. There was, I don't know how many thousands of people, and the bands were staying on the stage. And whoever entered the audience, whoever entered on the door, there was a person standing and giving one, little cigar. When you smoke, you feel a bit transcendental, So everybody was imagine the audience was all stoned, the whole full-on stoned. And all these bands with, transcendental, bands. And then Prabhupada came on the stage. Somehow his disciple, Shyamasundar Prabhu, arranged the Prabhupada go on the stage and sing. So Prabhupada was singing Hare Krishna, and all these bands were playing with him. And then Prabhupada spoke. And Prabhupada says, we came to present Krishna consciousness movement, meaning we're worshipping Krishna, and also meaning we follow the 4 regulative principles. No meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, and no intoxication. And all the disciples of Prabhupada like, oh my God, Prabhupada, what are you doing, You will ruin everything. We arranged for you everything. And Prabhupada finished everything, and everybody was chanting ecstatically, ecstatically. And Prabhupada came down the stage behind and said, Swamiji, wasn't it a little bit too harsh to say these things? And Prabhupada says, famous sentence, I didn't come to America to please the Americans. I came to preach the message of Lord Chaitanya. So this is what Prabhupada's revolution is. Because this is how millions and millions of people in this world think. Sense gratification is the only thing what is. So we are bringing revolution in the sense that you tell people, no, you are wrong. You actually are wrong, sir. This, what you do is wrong. But there's a solution to this. And not just that you will be happier, but you will be blissful if you do this other thing. And that's why in this verse, this last was itaṛāḥ. What is it? Itaṛāḥ? Huh? Sura-itarāḥ. Sura-itarāḥ. So sura means demigods, and itara means the other ones. I just looked at the Sanskrit dictionary. Itara means the other ones who are not the demigods, meaning the rest of the world. So this is how the rest of the world thinks, sense gratification. This is everything. So therefore, we as the followers of His Divine Grace, A.S.T. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and the Guru Parampara, we are obliged to actually think in the same way as Srila Prabhupada taught, revolutionary thoughts. Again, revolution does not mean that we go destroy, like when the Chandkazi broke the mridangas and the devotees came and they trampled the garden of Chandkazi. I thought it was like a typical devotee thing. Let's trample the garden of this demon, And Lord Chaitanya said, no, hold a little bit. This is not what we do. We don't trample the gardens of Chandkazi. We actually want to destroy the demoniac mentality in this person. And Lord Chaitanya spoke to him very nicely, very humbly, very, very humbly. So this is what we do. We very humbly be aggressive in a very humble way. We go out and distribute books. Excuse me, sir, how are you doing today? Oh, very nice. Really? Are you from this? You're from Kolkata? No. Oh, really? Here is a book for you today. It's a wonderful book, Bhagavad Gita. You heard about Bhagavad Gita? Wonderful. There's another. You can also give as a gift. There's another one, Bhagavatam, and you can just pile like this. And you said, well, just give a donation. Usually people give like, 5,000 rupees for you. You're a rich gentleman. You can give, no problem. And people say, oh, sure, no problem. If we are fired up, of course. But this is our aggression. Our aggression is in a humble, simple way. Walk around and tell people that they are wrong. And this here is the solution. What else we have? So I was just recently, while I was thinking about this, what will I speak? I was thinking, how many, last time I was, when I was actively in India, maybe 25 years ago, whatever, and because there was only few temples at that time, there was a temple in, on the west coast, there was Ahmedabad, there was Baroda, Delhi, there was, and here, I don't know, maybe it was Calcutta, and I don't know, maybe Viṣakhapatnam, maybe. But now I looked at it, listen to this, all those who are not from the Orissa. I looked at temples in Orissa only, except, Puri, Gadagiri, and Bhuvaneshwar. We have temples in ISKCON Angul, ISKCON Brahmapur, ISKCON Bhadrak, ISKCON Katak, ISKCON Jaleshwar, ISKCON Atala, ISKCON Remuna, and ISKCON Patamundai. These are nobody has ever heard about these places. And these are beautiful temples, like for example, this Angul. Have you seen these pictures? Prabhupada looked like a beautiful, how you call coverings above Prabhupada. Beautiful blue marble, and it's like amazing. Who has ever heard about these places? But Krishna consciousness went to these small, insignificant places, apparently. Because this was Prabhupada's desire, to go everywhere, Prithivita, Chayati, Nagaradi, and Grama. Every Grama, every village. To go there and preach Krishna consciousness. So, I was, there was a time I watched intensely Prabhupada's memories, and, different Prabhupada disciples speak about memories. And one particular sannyasi was speaking how, he said, I always wanted to enter Prabhupada's room, but I was afraid. And because I don't know what will I say. You open the room and Prabhupada's writing, and he said, yes. What would you say? What would you say? Oh, hi Prabhupada, I wanted to see you, He said, no, I couldn't say this. He said, but then I thought, oh, I know. I'm going to some country which is very dangerous and open a center there. Then I can come back to Prabhupada and say, Prabhupada, I'm coming back from this. So he went to Turkey. He almost got arrested or something. And then he knocked the Prabhupada's door. In the same way, this one devotee called Guru Kripa Prabhu is a famous devotee in ISKCON. He narrates how he was Bhakta Greg, and he was observing how, because at that time the ISKCON was becoming a little bit bigger, and devotees were always around Prabhupada. He couldn't come close to Prabhupada. So he was observing, how can I come closer to Prabhupada? He was thinking. And then he saw letters. Whom does Prabhupada write letters? Prabhupada write letters to those who open temples. So he came to India, and he went to South India with, I think, Yashodananda Swami at that time. And they opened several temples in South India. And he said, then letter after letter start coming. So this is if I want to be, if we all want to be recognized by Prabhupada, we have to do something that Prabhupada can write a letter to us. Just like in the Srimad Bhagavatam is described when Lord Brahma in the second canto created material universe. It's a hard work, to creation. Anybody who made a painting or who wrote something, it's not easy. Or who built a house with your own hands. You know how difficult it is. So imagine Lord Brahma create the whole universe. It's a hard work. So after this hard work, Lord Viṣṇu came to Brahma, and he did what? He shook hand with Lord Brahma. And he said, nicely done, Lord Brahma. Very good. And Prabhupada said in the Purport, he said, we can all, if we are pleasing Supreme Personality of Godhead, will we also be able to shake hand with Krishna within no time. Imagine, Krishna said, very good, very nice, Ishvara Chandra, I'm very happy here. Shaking hands. This is wonderful. So therefore, we have to present this Krishna consciousness. Well, another interesting point about this, what are we offering as our revolutionary practice? I call the revolutionary practice. Just like we have in our holy dhams, we have a perfect place is Dvaraka. It's a perfect place, perfection. To go to Dvaraka, it means perfection of life. But even more perfect place is Mathura. And even most perfect is Vrindavan, Goloka Vrindavan. This is only, you never have this like a best, even more best, and the best, the bestest, as they say sometimes in India. So we also offer, what are we offering from our Krishna consciousness? We're offering liberation from this material existence. If you practice Krishna consciousness, all your material problems will stop, ultimately. Maybe not in this life, but in the next life for sure. For sure. If somebody practices Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada said, if you chant 16 rounds, follow 4 regulative principles to the rest of your life, you will guarantee go back to Godhead. Simple. He says, if you distribute books all your life, you'll go back to Godhead. So this is like promises by Prabhupada. And devotee, we know, Kontaya pradijanihi, name bhakta pranashati. The promise of a devotee never goes in vain. So we offer people liberation from material existence, but we offer more. We offer opportunity to actually meet the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, Krishna. This is the better. The best is to get liberation. The better than the liberation is to meet Krishna. And even better than that is to actually become a lover of Krishna. You become lover of Krishna. Imagine me from whatever country I am, from the West Balkans, become lover of Krishna. Not bad. Not bad at all, by the grace of the Prabhupada and the Acharyas, and by the grace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this is the most, you can say, most revolutionary idea there is. That Lord Chaitanya came not just to, become, like a social reformer. Now the Shudras can come to the temple, whatever. The Shudras can worship the deity. But actually these Shudras can achieve the highest, what even not yogis can achieve, to become lovers of Krishna, to enter the Sringara rasa, the rasa which is a conjugal relationship with Krishna. This is amazing. This is the revolutionary thought. This is what you get more than you even asked for. When we joined the Hare Krishna movement, I didn't expect this. I expected, okay, I can become religious. It's pretty good. But I didn't expect that I will be offered this opportunity to enter Krishna's pastime to his conjugal relationship between him and Radharani. Wow, this is like amazing. This is called bonus. This is called special bonus. So therefore, we go as devotees, we go to the both tracks. One track is preaching Krishna consciousness, and the other track is we making our own personal advancement. We have to, like for example in the West now, there's a last 10 years, I was just even watching recently one devotee, senior devotee, speaking how it's time to boil the milk. We have distributed so many books, we have preached so long, many years, now it's time to boil the milk. And I was thinking, how long do you need to boil that milk? 20, if you boil one milk 20 years, what will happen to the milk, or the quotes also in the West, I heard so many times, we have distributed, Prabhupada's quote, you have distributed so many books, but are you reading these books? Wow, yes, true. But my quote is, we are reading books, but are you distributing them? This is actually a question in 2022. It's nice that we are reading so many books, but are we distributing these books? Are you? Look at the scores. Where are the scores? In Europe, America. Not much is going on. So therefore, we have to go to the both tracks. We have to create this, we have to recreate the revolution as Prabhupada created it, but we also at the same time we have to make advancement in Krishna consciousness. Interestingly enough, I was reading Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's article from some, I don't remember, magazine maybe, but he speaks about Raganuga Bhakti. And he speaks about this and that, importance of Raganuga Bhakti, and he said, everybody in Gaudiya Math who is over 20 years practicing should know these things. Wow. Everybody who is over 20 years in Gaudiya Math should know these things. Meaning that this Raganuga Bhakti is meant for everybody. It's not like, we speak, no, we don't speak about it, we don't talk about it. Yes, not in public, but we have to make advancement. Otherwise, as Prabhupada says here, where is it? Here, if you do not associate with the advanced devotees, uttamadhikaris, if you simply want to remain in the lowest stage of devotional service, then we are making no progress. We shall simply then enjoy material field without entering into the spiritual platform. So meaning that this is nice that we are humble and that we think ourselves lower than a straw in the street. I cannot speak about the higher topics. But the point is that not to speak about high topics, the point is to become advanced enough to actually understand these high topics and actually participate in these high topics. So that's why we have to go on both tracks. And this first track is preaching. And to preach Krishna consciousness, we have to have a good sadhana. 16 rounds, 4 regulative principles, reading from Prabhupada's books, waking up early in the morning. And by doing this regularly, then we will also make advancement. And sometimes we also have to do more. Prabhupada says minimum 60 rounds. So therefore, when we come to the holy Dham, Mayapur, it's nice to meet all the wonderful devotees, eat wonderful pizza in 7-grain bakery, whatever, nice sandwiches. But we have to chant rounds, maybe more rounds. Again, when I came first time to Mayapur Dham, there was no shops. There was nothing. There was prasadam 2 times a day in, where were we eating? In this building there, with the picture of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda put in mouth. And this was prasadam there, and that was it, And lunch also there, and meanwhile, chant Hare Krishna, be happy. Go to the programs and visit Godrum Dweep or whatever Dweep and chant Hare Krishna and chant more Hare Krishna. And then read some more about Lord Chaitanya. This was it, The life was simpler, but it was more blissful because there was not much distractions. No cell phones, nowadays, like I was leaving now my apartment, I came here and I was like, oh my God, I forgot my handy, mobile phone. My God, what's going to happen? 1 hour without mobile phone, This is stupid. This is stupid, we have so many things we become attached to unnecessarily, but in reality we have to be attached to Krishna. So we should give a vow, now we have Kartik is coming, give a vow, okay, I want to chant 64 rounds, 120 rounds, 192 rounds, not much, you just have to how many hours is this a Kinshana? Depends how fast you chant, but say 18 hours. Not much. You have 6 hours for sleeping. You can sleep 6 hours and chant 18 hours, not much. So we can do all these things. We can read, or we have these devotees have reading marathons. Let's read 100 pages a day or whatever. Or read Bhagavad Gita, a whole Bhagavad Gita from the beginning to the end. I did last Kartik. Bhagavad Gita, I read everything from the how you call it, the covers, everything, the author, BBT. I read everything from the beginning to the end, toward Kartik. So we should do this. And in this way, we'll become also revolution in our own heart. The ISKCON, now, how they say there's a saying, there was a famous song in America some years ago, too many MCs, not enough mics. You understand? MCs, everybody wants to give an announcement, speak, but not enough microphones for all of them, you know. So nowadays you have so many teachers, you know, teaching, Shastri or whatever, you know. But we should actually teach ourselves first, you know. It's not only, Krishna consciousness is not only for the externals. Krishna consciousness is for the internal also. Meaning as much as we have to give out, you know, we also have to accept. As Prabhupada was saying, for preaching you become like a lion. You know, when you go out and preach, you become like a lion or lioness. Yeah, we have a book distributor here, you know. We become lioness or lion, preaching. And then you come home and you say, oh, husband, how can I serve you? You know. You know. So this is what Prabhupada wanted. Prabhupada wanted preaching, in preaching field outside to be like lions, meaning that we have to accept Krishna consciousness in our own hearts too. It's not only to give, you know. And therefore, we have to always look forward, how can I make progress in Krishna consciousness? You know, as a grihasta, it's very nice, wonderful, we are grihastas, but when I'm age of 50, I should already think, okay, this is enough now. It's wonderful, but now it's the time to become more serious. I want to take vanaprastha. It's ISKCON is kind of strange how to become vanaprastha, you know, unless your wife dies, you know, like mine didn't die, so we didn't know how to become vanaprasthas. So I said, okay, let's just say it. Let's just say it. We are vanaprasthas, you know. And after this, we should take sannyas. We should take sannyas for the advancement purposes, you know. I want to renounce the material world. I saw one very nice definition. I don't have a quote here right now. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, that says, sannyas means accepting the dependence of Krishna and rejecting dependence of the material energy. This is sannyas, you know. If you just take a staff, you know, it's nice. I mean, it's very good. Saffron clothes, you know. But we should take sannyas for these purposes, not for the other purposes, you know. As I have some quotes here what Prabhupada says, you know, this is not the purpose of sannyas or vanaprastha or to get a position in the society or, you know, respect, lobha, pratishta, puja, you know, yes. You know how I need these billboards in Vrindavan, you stand like this and all this, australum, what is australum? Effulgence. Effulgence comes from my hand, you know, and I am giving blessings, you know. This is not the purpose of sannyas, you know. The purpose of sannyas is to actually renounce material world. I don't accept the dependence on the material energy, and I want to preach Krishna consciousness. I have time, I have nothing else to do in my life but preach Krishna consciousness. And imagine if you have more and more sannyasis, or more and more devotees. You know, nowadays sannyasis are taking only young devotees, you know. I mean, young devotees, 40 years old or 50 years old. But we have so many grihastas with so much experience, so much experience. You know, sannyasis, new devotees who have never been married, brahmacharis, they don't know what does it mean to have a kid, you know, what does it mean to your wife, you know, in your house all the time, you know. But grihastas, they have all this wonderful experience, and when they take sannyas, they know exactly what's going on. And when I get the donation, if I'm a sannyasi, if I get donation of these 100 euros, or 100 whatever, 1,000 rupees, I know what does it mean for these devotees to make these 1,000 rupees. Hard work, 8 hours in the office, tolerating boss, you know, who tells you this tomorrow. You want to go to Jamashtami, and he said, no, I want you to work on Saturday. You're like, oh my God, you know. So all these things, we know this. So therefore, this how we should become. This is what we need. We need an army of revolutionaries who accepted revolution in their own heart and who are ready to offer peaceful revolution to the others. So thank you very much for your attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Would you like to question something or? Yes, bro. You have a microphone.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for the inspiring lecture, Prabhu. Yeah, it was nice to hear that all of us have to be with that revolutionary spirit which Prabhupada gave us. And I was thinking about this rock concert and how Prabhupada preached first. He started to talk about that four regulative principles.
Yes.
And do you think that we also have to apply the same in our preaching to when we meet the new people, for example, on the street, or for example, if you are giving lecture on Sunday feast, and there is new people, do we have to start like Prabhupada to explain about these things? No illicit sex, no gambling, no this, no that.
Well, the good preacher, he knows or she knows what to speak, when to speak. Sometimes you don't say anything. Sometimes you say everything. Sometimes you don't even tell people, what is this really? Oh, just it's some, when you distribute books and people, I remember we traveled in America, we had a big bus, we bought a big bus. So we had this dhotis colored like this, probably a little more yellowish, And so dhotis and kurtas. And so when we travel around and people stop us and they said, are you guys Buddhist? And he said, yeah, something like this. What are you how are you going to explain? No, Buddhism is they believe in, there's some people from the village, they say, yeah, it's the same. But sometimes you say things. And sometimes Krishna inspires you. There's a very interesting story. One devotee was distributing books, and he approached, this is one very dear friend of mine who maybe watched this. Somebody approached him on the street, one young man. He was maybe 19, he's like a really tough kind of guy, He was a football player, American football player, like tough. And he says, excuse me, sir. He offered me a book. And this boy said, I don't have money. And this devotee said, you are lying. You have money. I mean, you never say, you never say things like you are lying, But he said, I don't know, why did I say this? I just told him, you're lying. And this man became so touched and said, wow, nobody in my life was honest with me, whole life. And he showed him, I have actually $1,000 in my pocket. I was going to buy ganja, And he was so impressed with this devotee that he came next day to the same place. Of course, he bought the book. And he was coming a couple of days to speak to him. And then later on, he joined and he became Sankirtan devotee himself. But, you don't go around and tell people you're lying, you're nonsense, But sometimes you say things, Sometimes you do. That's why preaching has to become also with experience. Sometimes somebody's talking nonsense. You said, yeah, it's true, right. And you just let them hang around, eat some prasadam. Just hang, and after like 1 month, that person will like, oh, Haribol, because you don't know, people in their minds, they are stupid, so much karma and so much. And sometimes you said, I remember I had one bhakta wanted to join us, and he was all into psychism, he sees the energy, whatever, and he told me, you Hare Krishnas, you're limited with language. Your words are limiting you, I said, listen, you want to be with us? Stay with us. If you're not, go away. And he was like, no, I want to stay, And somehow woke him up. After this, he was always humble and serving, Sometimes, But sometimes you let people. I remember we had one guy, 3 months. We didn't do anything. He could wake up wherever he wants. It was on the farm, so he could sleep as long as he wants. No service, just as long as he hung. And after 3 months, he decided can I also wear a dhoti? Anyways, one more last time, yes, because I was told I have to stop it before 9 o'clock. Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you for your class, Prabhuji. My query is that for a grihastha, what does it mean banaprastha and sannyas for a grihastha devotee?
Yes, thank you. This is actually me and Akinchana Prabhu attended, when we were brahmacharis, we attended the Vanaprastha seminar by Sachinandan Goswami. Hare Krishna. I'm just telling Akinchana, we were attending the Vanaprastha seminar as brahmacharis. But Janananda Maharaj was explaining that there's a different ways of Vanaprastha. It's not like sannyas is like you sit and somebody gives you sannyas initiation. Vanaprastha, there is no such a thing as initiation. So every Vanaprastha, every Grihastha takes Vanaprastha in their own ways. This was Maharaja's conclusion. And we're discussing different Grihasthas, because different devotees are ready to step to certain way towards renunciation. Some devotees are, selling their house in Mumbai and buy apartment in Jalangidam, whatever. So this is their renunciation. This is their Vanaprastha. Some devotees, whatever. There's different ways. Some devotees travel more together, Me and my wife, we decided we want to have 2 suitcases, possessions, and that's kind of it. This was our way. We don't have an apartment, so we stay in temples, and and we have 2 suitcases. This is like some kind of a measure we give it to ourselves, and try to preach as much as possible.
What about sannyas for a grihastha?
And sannyas for a grihastha, sannyas is, if you really, you see, as a grihastha, you are sometimes, many times, unnoticed that you exist at all, You go somewhere, people, some white, some fallen grihastha, And then, but you want to preach, and if you want to be recognized, and you think, if I take sannyas, people will know I arrive in the room, and everybody's like, bowing down, But this is not the purpose. The purpose of sannyas, even Vedically, purpose of Vanaprastha is to, you can read it in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, after the Prahlad Maharaj explaining the four how you say, of human life, 4 orders of life, that Vanaprastha means you have to realize that you are not the body. So you go to the forest, you eat dried leaves, and you sleep on the ground, and on the end, you prepare a pyre and you jump into the fire. He said the Grihastha should be just skin and bones, and even then he should jump into the fire. This is the saintly Grihastha. This is the advice for Grihastha to become Vanaprastha. But for sannyas does not need to jump into the fire. Sannyas is beyond that. Sannyas has realized I am not the body, and he is developing philosophical thoughts, and he's trying to understand the Supreme. So it's a step beyond. So meaning that I want to understand who Krishna is. I want to understand my relationship with Krishna. And for this, I cannot have this anymore, house, wife. There's so many things. Like now I'm thinking, I have to buy rope for drying laundry. Sannyas, he doesn't care about these things. Sannyas just wants to find about Krishna. How can I know? What is my relationship with Krishna? Thank you. Thank you very much for your attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.